And to sit here and let France mock the country, mock your religion, make fun of every single thing you feel holy. This is the Last Supper. This is everything holy about Christianity, and we say absolutely nothing about it and say, oh, you cannot even complain. What are we doing wrong by saying that this is disgusting? This is not art.
What's very important to remember is that the European Union gave 100 million euros for France to do this Olympics. So they took your tax
money.
money.
They took your money to do this.
Money, and they're making fun of Jesus Christ.
Andrew Tate, a figure known for his outspoken views, has just made a huge announcement that's bound to stir the pot. In a blistering critique, he's taken a direct shot at the Olympics, questioning the performances and raising eyebrows everywhere. But what really happened? This is a moment you won't want to miss.
Guys, I believe most of you are Christians. I'm a Muslim, yes? This is Romania, supposed to be the most Christian country in Europe. You cannot allow them to desecrate something as important as the Last Supper with transsexuals and little children, pedophilia. There has to be a point you stand up for your beliefs. If you have something in life and you don't stand up for it, it will not last. If you have a house, you don't maintain it, it will fall down. Business, you don't work, it's gone. Relationship, you don't take care of her, she'll leave you. It's the same with religion. If you Christians don't start standing up for things, when they mock you publicly and openly, you'll have no religion left. It doesn't matter, it's a matter of time. Especially now, Romania and all these other countries have opened the border. Millions of people who come here are not Christian. And if you don't say, this is a Christian country and we respect Christianity, they won't respect it either. It's the end. And it's the man's job. It's the job of men to defend things. This is what a man is supposed to do. It's man and woman for a reason, but the man is a fighter. The men have to stand up and fight against these things. Guys, this is supposed to be the most Christian country in Europe. When they try this crap again, I expect to see you all at the next embassy, wherever it is. Thank you, guys.
The opening ceremony of the 2024 Paris Olympics has provoked substantial controversy and outrage, notably among Christian groups, owing to a performance that was seen as disgracing the Last Supper. This contentious show had drag queens arrayed in a fashion similar to Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper, with an obese person costumed as Jesus in the middle. It had a halo-like headdress and hands creating a heart shape. Many Christians, including Andrew Tate, a Muslim, have decried this as profoundly insulting.
Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group. On the contrary, I think that Thomas Joly really tried to really intend to celebrate community tolerance. That was his word yesterday. And looking at the result of the polls that we shared, we believe that this ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offense, we are of course really sorry.
Ma volonté n'est pas d'être subversif, ni de me moquer, ni de choquer. Ma volonté est simplement de dire que nous sommes ce grand nous et que hier soir, c'était des idées républicaines, c'était des idées d'inclusion, c'était des idées de bienveillance, de générosité, des idées de solidarité, bref, de ce que je crois nous avons follement besoin. En France, on a le droit de s'aimer comme on veut, avec qui on veut. En France, on a le droit de croire ou de ne pas croire. En France, on a le droit, on a beaucoup de droits, voilà. Et c'était l'idée de faire transparaître ces valeurs-là à travers la cérémonie.
The outcry was fast and extensive. Prominent politicians, including U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson, criticized the performance as a mockery and an assault on Christian principles. He highlighted that such crimes are part of a bigger battle against religion and traditional values, reflecting cultural trends that weaken these views. Kansas City Chiefs place kicker Harrison Butker, a devout Catholic, showed disgust by posting a Bible text emphasizing the importance of insulting solemn Christian occasions. Donald Trump still had some things to say about the Olympics.
The opening ceremony was a disgrace, actually. I thought it was a disgrace. the mocking of the Last Supper.
I thought it was
Catholics and Christians across
I thought it
across
was
the globe are outraged.
I mean, they can do certain things. I thought it was terrible.
Can you say at the next Olympics, if you're present, there won't be, you'll have enough influence on the organizers that we won't be, you know, insulting Christians?
We
worldwide?
won't be having a Last Supper as portrayed the way they portrayed it the other night. I just think, look, I'm for everybody. I'm very open-minded. You understand.
Yeah.
You know me better than most people know me. I'm very open-minded. But I thought what they did was a disgrace.
In response, former kickboxing champion Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have gone to the streets of Romania asking Christians to remain solid in their beliefs. They say that rising secularization and perceived animosity against Christianity in public settings such as the Olympics might lead to the erasure of Christian values if Christians do not aggressively defend their religion.
How are you not angry by what they've just done? They've openly mocked your entire religion from head to toe. One of the most sacred images throughout all of Western civilization, the Last Supper. They mocked it. And you're just going to sit there as a Christian and what? Forgive? Turn the other cheek. Oh, just turn the other cheek, forgive. Go on, tell me. Tell me the Christian doctrine. Tell me about it.
I'm not called to take vengeance on them because vengeance is God's. So I'm called to battle my own flesh and to not get caught up in some culture war. I'm not.
No, yeah, don't get caught up in
it is heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's right. Don't get caught up in a culture war. Just let Christian culture be mocked openly and destroyed in real time and decimated and replaced. That's it. Don't get caught up in a culture war. Don't get caught up in here in the flesh. Let's just forgive and let them make fun of us forever and do absolutely fucking nothing and let them mock us forever and let them replace us and we're just going to sit here and turn the other cheek and read the Bible. Bro, I don't know what it's going to take for you people to stand up and stop taking this shit. France is supposed to be a Christian fucking country. The worst thing about this is actually the fact that none of this has anything to do with sports. They could have done this at any other time. No, they chose this random event. You can't even possibly link them. They have no excuse they can come up with that makes any kind of logical sense. They didn't apologize. They didn't. Firstly, they're not sorry. This was signed off on. And to sit here and let France mock the country, mock your religion, make fun of every single thing you feel holy. This is the Last Supper. This is everything holy about Christianity. And we say absolutely nothing about it and say, oh, you cannot even complain. What are we doing wrong by saying that this is disgusting? This is not art. Everyone at home, I want you to understand. They don't try and trick you or deceive people. If I give you a poison apple and you eat it, I murdered you. If I say this is a poison apple, all of this is done on purpose. They're telling you exactly what's going to happen. They're coming for your kids. They're coming for all your institutions. There's nothing cultural left now. They have an infiltration between Europe or Europe. This is disgusting. Am I right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. There are Christians all over the world.
Social media has been flooded with opinions, with many people denouncing the International Olympic Committee, IOC, for permitting such a performance. Critics claim that the IOC would have approved a different representation of another faith, emphasizing a perceived double standard in how religious sensitivities are addressed. Some observers argued that such performances might alienate Christian viewers and harm the Olympics' inclusive ethos.
This is Bishop Barron. You know, just a few days ago I was in Indianapolis for the marvelous celebration of the Eucharistic Congress, 50,000 Catholics coming together to worship the Lord and celebrate the real presence of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. So I come from that experience and I come home and, you know, I love the Olympics, so I turn on the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. What do I see now? And it's in Paris, France, a city I love. I spent 3 years as a doctoral student there. What do I see but this gross mockery of the Last Supper? And I won't describe it any further. Just go online. It's gone viral. You can see it. But this, France felt evidently, as it's trying to put its best cultural foot forward, the right thing to do is to mock this very central moment in Christianity where Jesus, at his Last Supper, gives his body and blood in anticipation of the cross. And so it's presented, though, as this gross, sort of flippant mockery. France, which used to be called the eldest daughter of the church, Paris, that gave us, Thomas Aquinas taught there, and Vincent de Paul was there, King Louis IX, St. Louis. France that sent Catholic missionaries all over the world. France, whose culture, and I mean the honoring of the individual and of human rights and of freedom, is grounded very much in Christianity, felt the right thing to do was to mock the Christian faith. You know, a question I would pose, we all know the answer to it. Would they ever have dared mock Islam in a similar way? Would they ever have dreamed of mocking in this gross, you know, public way a scene from the Quran? As I say, we all know the answer to that. I think, folks, what's interesting here is this deeply secularist postmodern society knows who its enemy is. They're naming it, and we should believe them. They're telling us who they are. We should believe them. But furthermore, we Christians, we Catholics should not be sheepish. We should resist. We should make our voices heard.
Critics, notably American Catholic Bishop Robert Barron, questioned why France decided to parody such a pivotal period in Christian history at an event designed to showcase the finest of French culture. Bishop Barron saw the performance as a violation of France's cultural identity, which is profoundly entrenched in Christianity, according to Christian Daily. Numerous religious leaders and observers shared this attitude. Rev. Daniel French, a podcaster, encouraged the Archbishop of Canterbury to condemn the performance in his post on X, emphasizing, "This is excellent." Justin Welby timed to match Bishop Barron's statement. The opening Olympic ceremony mocked Christianity and the Last Supper in a way it never would have for any other religion.
It's always the Christians, Evelyn, who come under attack in this one, because they know it's an easy target. They don't have to worry too much about what the response is going to be. The response is only going to be
turn the other cheek.
But exactly. But it's just pathetic.
It is, but I think I actually disagree with why. I don't think Christians are an easy target. I think Christians are the biggest target, which is why they always attack Christians, because Christianity is the only thing standing between people and the state.
Marion Maréchal, a conservative French politician, noted that the performance did not represent the opinions of the whole French population. She emphasized that it was the effort of a left-wing minority seeking to provoke, and she asked Christians throughout the globe to realize this difference. This viewpoint distinguishes between the acts of the Olympic organizers and the general French public, who also found the performance insulting.
Because when you have God above government, the government doesn't become God. And I think that's why they constantly tackle it, because once you get through the Christians, it's easy to go through everybody else. Like Kel said, we are the #1 religion across the world. And just for a bit on France as well, like you mentioned, Joe, my blood ancestry would disagree that all French are morons.
Really?
However, I will just say, statistically, in France, there are over 1,000 attacks, anti-Christian attacks, every year. That's an average of about 3 per day. So this isn't something new for France. We've seen all the damage that they've done to the church across France, the fires that they've been setting in Christian Catholic churches all across the country. Not only that, France is got the highest terrorist rate in all of Europe, currently standing at, I looked at the statistics, but they're fleeting at the moment, but it's higher than any other country. They're honestly a mess. And I think the reason why is because the more that you unravel and reject Christianity, which is what built the West, the more you're going to get this pagan crap shoved in your face. And I'm sorry, I am a Christian. This did offend me. It also offended a lot of people who just want to watch the Olympics because it unites people around the world on a common interest of the enjoyment of sport. And not only that, I grew up watching the opening ceremony of the Olympics. I had a family member who was an Olympian, and so it was a very big thing that our whole family would sit around and watch and participate, and we followed my family member's career, so to speak. There's a lot of nostalgia, there's a lot of things. There is no way in absolute hell I would let any child in my family go anywhere near the Olympics after what I just saw. And isn't that sad that what's
Evelyn,
meant to bring
that's what
everyone...
the flag means. That's what the flag means. When a flag is flown upside down by
distress.
It's distress.
It's honestly, isn't it emblematic? Isn't that failure just so emblematic of what's going on at this Olympics? But honestly, people are saying that this whole thing that happened with the opening ceremony, it wasn't about the Last Supper.
Elon Musk, Tesla's CEO, also chimed in on the topic, calling the performance extremely disrespectful to Christians and claiming that Christianity has become toothless in the face of such provocations. Musk's statements highlight a growing fear that Christian values are being ignored in modern culture. A pre-recorded dance scene portraying a passionate pursuit between two men and a lady, which culminated with the three indulging in suggested sexual actions, fueled the uproar. According to the Christian Post, the opening ceremony may have been intentionally planned to insult conservative and religious spectators. Despite the uproar, the IOC has defended the opening ceremony, claiming that it symbolizes the varied and inclusive ethos of the contemporary Olympics. This defense has yet to satisfy many who believe their beliefs were disregarded.
We're just going to sit here and turn the other cheek and read the Bible. Bro, I don't know what it's going to take for you people to stand up and stop taking this shit. France is supposed to be a Christian fucking country. The worst thing about this is actually the fact that none of this has anything to do with sports. They could have done this at any other time. No, they chose this random event. You can't even possibly link them. They have no excuse they can come up with that makes any kind of logical sense. It's not about sports. It's not about dedication. It's nothing to do with the event. They just say, everyone will be watching. Let's prove how disrespectful we are to Christianity, and let's prove how gay we are. There was no need for it at all.
I agree. What should I have done, or what should Christians have done?
Are you mad?
Yeah.
Are any Christians?
It's heartbreaking.
Are any Christians at all, a single one, going to even bother to go outside and protest? Are any Christians going to stop watching the Olympics? Are any Christian athletes going to step down? Are any of you going to do anything after the most blatant mocking, probably in history, of Jesus Christ? Or are you all going to sit there and do absolutely nothing and talk about how somehow, in the end, it'll be fine? Oh, we have a cancer tumor, but in the end, if you just ignore it, it's going to be fine in the end. No. They wouldn't dare do this to any other religion. They wouldn't dare do it to Judaism, and they wouldn't dare do it to Islam. They would not dare. They mock Christians because you're endlessly weak, endlessly forgiving. You know what happens if somebody's endlessly forgiving? At first, they're a good person, and in the end, they're taken advantage of. And I understand. You're making me read the Bible. Me and you talk about these all the time. The Bible's all about forgiveness and turn the other cheek, and Jesus forgives, and in the end, he's coming back. I get all of that. I understand it. But as a man with beliefs, don't you have any semblance of rage inside of you? And not just you, all the Christians. Everyone's just going about their day. All the Christians in France are just doop-de-doo. What the fuck?
We should call it out, but we shouldn't let it enrage us.
Why?
Why?
Anger moves the world, friend.
You got to be careful, though. You can't fall into...
Fall into what? Anger moves the world. It was, I guarantee, during the Christian Crusades, they were angry.
You know, no, there is actually a huge movement to boycott the Olympics, and a lot of people are boycotting and not watching it. I will not watch a single sporting event. People can share the 100-meter relay, and clips can go viral. I'll block everyone who tags me in it. I'm not watching any of it at all, ever.
Absolutely unacceptable. Anger moves the world. And I think that all of this trope about endless forgiveness and allowing yourselves to be mocked and taken advantage of forever is going to backfire at some point. There's going to be a point in the future when we look back at history, if the world still exists, and they're going to say, what were the Christians doing to save Christian civilization during that period, when their lands and their women were being taken from them, when they were endlessly mocked by the people who were supposedly in charge of them. What were they doing? And when you find out the answer was forgiving, jerking off to porn, and fucking sitting around going, it'll be all right later on, there's going to be a large, long history lecture on how they should have fucking stood up and done something. It would not take much for Christians in France to put up enough of a fucking fuss outside of this garbage ceremony for them to not try this again. You need 5,000 to 6,000 people with signs and pictures of Jesus. They do it in Romania. They do it in Serbia. They do it in a few other countries. In France, a Christian nation, what are they going to do? Nothing. They're all going to go out tonight, drink alcohol, and fuck. That's it. Do drugs. Fucking failures. I'm telling you, it's a failure of the religion, and it's a failure of the Christians to allow this to happen. You cannot blame the people who attack. If I leave my money out on the street and someone steals it, people will say, why'd you leave your money out on the street? Mm-hmm. If you allow your prophet, if you allow Jesus and your religion and your culture and your entire country to be mocked and stolen from you and destroyed, and you do nothing, whose fault is it?
Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have been especially loud in their opposition, using their platform to urge Christians to defend their beliefs. They claim that the representation of the Last Supper was not an isolated instance, but rather part of a greater trend of disdain for Christianity and popular culture. Their rallies in Romania drew enormous audiences and significant sympathy from individuals who felt equally excluded.
Okay.
They knocked me out, they shot me. Like Hard to Kill. I'm Steven Seagal. They come in, they hit me with the shotgun. Bang! Takes me down for a minute or two. They rape my wife, I get up! Oh well, turn the other cheek.
No.
No, people must pay the price! They must pay for what they've done! They will pay for that. If I sit there and talk about forgiveness, am I a nice person or am I a bitch? There comes a point. There is a line which can't be crossed for all men in all things, whether it's religious or anything else. And if you cross that line, there are consequences. People ask me all the time. I had this conversation the other day. I said, I'm absolutely capable of murder. Of course I am. Mm-hmm. There is a line. Mm-hmm. If you cross that line, I will kill you. There's a line for Christians. I'm not asking for mass violence. I'm saying pick up a sign and stand outside. It's
That's
probably
fair.
It's a sunny day. Go out in the sun and show that you're upset. No, none. And then Christians complain that, France, all the Muslims are taking it. The Muslims protect their religion. They respect it. So others respect it. Mm-hmm. And then you wonder why France is now an Islamic country. In 50 years from now, they'll still be mocking Jesus Christ and they will not dare do it to Islam. They will not dare. And then you want to sit here and talk about religion and which ones you can argue about the two, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get down that route because it's a messy one. But I just don't see how you can have a belief you don't stick up for. I don't see how that's even a belief anymore. Mm-hmm. If I believe in something, I stick up for it. Isn't that a prerequisite of belief? I believe, so I defend. I believe this is my house, so I defend it. If I don't believe it's my house, why would I defend it? You believe in Jesus Christ, defend it.
Well, you also have to enact the principles that he teaches. And he doesn't teach me to go lash out at people and be filled with rage. Holding a sign is not rageful. I agree with that.
Okay, so how is showing that you're upset with what happened against biblical prophecy or against biblical teachings?
I don't think it's against biblical teachings.
No. Okay, so it could happen, and it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen because Christians don't care enough. So perhaps you should be a little bit angrier. Perhaps 1% more. Because if you don't give a shit at all about things, if I have anything in the world, a car I don't care about, and it's neglected, eventually it's destroyed. Same with a house, same with a relationship, same with a business. If you sit there and you refuse to put in effort, human energy and time, eventually it gets replaced and destroyed. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with a religion. If they're going to mock Jesus Christ at the largest ceremony France has held in years, with the most blatant and obvious discretion of all of his teachings in history, it's the worst thing they've ever done, and not a single Christian will hold up a sign. Don't you think the Satanists are like, yeah, we've won now? Look.
The Tate's participation has given the debate a new depth, combining faith, fame, and activism. Many people believe that their views are being challenged and that public figures owe it to them to defend traditional values.